We are talking about graphing simple rational functions, and in this case, we're looking at y equals a over x form. So we have the function f of x equals -4 over x, and the first thing we want to start with is we want to find where the vertical asymptote is. And the way that we find where the vertical asymptote is, we want to find where the denominator is equal to 0. So for the vertical asymptote, we want to say when is that equal to 0. So when is x equal to 0? Well, in this case, we don't have to do any math. We already know that the vertical asymptote is when x is equal to 0. And in that case as well, for the same thing for the y, or for the horizontal asymptote, is also going to be y is equal to 0. So we're going to be able to draw those asymptotes. So here we have y equals 0. So we're going to have a line here that our graph is not going to cross. And we have a vertical one as well. So this is the line x equals 0, and this is the line y equals 0, and we have our two asymptotes there. Now the next thing we have to do is we have to identify a few points, and so I want to pick some points immediately to the right and immediately to the left of the vertical asymptote. So some points that I can pick out are 1 and -1. And then I also want to look at what my original function is to pick out points that are going to make sense. I could pick 3 if I wanted to, but then I'm going to end up with a decimal. So I don't really want to do that, but 2 would work. 2 and -2, and 4 and -4. So all those points will work, and basically we're going to just substitute them into the function for x, where we're going to say 4 divided by x. So -4 divided by 1 is -4. And -1, or -4 divided by -1 is 4. -4 divided by 2 is -2. -4 divided by -2 is 2. -4 divided by 4 is -1. And -4 divided by -4 is 1. So I can plot those points. We have the point 1, -4. So 1, -4 will be right here. This is if we're counting by -5. We have 5 over here, 5, and -5. Then we have the point -1, 4. Then we have the point 2, -2, and -2, 2, and 4, -1, 4, -1, and -4, 1. And we know that eventually our graph is going to get really close to our asymptote, so we're going to draw it so it's going to have a downward slant. It's going to eventually get really close to our asymptote there, and it's going to continue in that direction. And then the same thing, it's going to get close to our asymptote, draw it through those points, and show that it's not crossing there. Now we got to look at what is our domain and range. And for our domain and range, it's going to be everything except for our asymptotes in this case. So for the domain, we're going to start at -infinity. We're going to go to 0. 0 is not included. We're going to union that with starting at 0 and going to +infinity. And for the range is going to be the same thing. We're going to start at -infinity. We're going to go to 0. 0 is not included. Again, 0 is not included. It's going to go to +infinity. And then we can take a look a little bit more at what our graph might look like. And we can see it here where we have our vertical asymptote. and our horizontal